Today we're going to be talking about visualization and movement and how those two things really should go together every single time you step foot into the gym, every time you train, whether you're on the mats rolling in BJJ or you're actually on the range getting reps in with your live firearm. In every single environment, when we decide to move left, right, front, back, or we turn our head, we need to be visualizing what's next. What's our next move? Why are we moving that way in the first place? If we don't connect our movement to strong and powerful visualization, then we're missing the opportunity to get a great rep in. And what I mean by that is everything that we think about in a training environment matters. So if you're new to an environment and you're isolating a specific movement, say for example, my drill today is just to throw a jab and then I want to flank. So this guy's in front of me, I want to be preemptive, I have my hands up in a non-violent posture, I want to jab and then get offline. Well, if I'm sitting here in a training environment, say I'm doing that even shadow boxing and I don't even have Hawk as a visualization. If I'm standing here in an environment and I decide to shadow box in my living room, I want to be able to have strong visualization, even if I'm new and I'm isolating this movement. How much can you connect the two? You're getting ready to move, but how much have you really prepared your mind to visualize what's in front of you? What are you getting ready to hit? What environment are you actually in? And when you start moving, all those things might leave your mind, especially if you're a beginner. You're gonna be like, okay, I need to focus on the actual jab and the flank, and that's fine, you're isolating. But the more you can pull the strong visualization into your actual strikes and into your actual movement, the higher the value of that repetition. One of Bruce Lee's quotes, he's more afraid of somebody that does one kick 1,000 times than 1,000 kicks one time. And there's a difference there. It's the quality of the repetition. If you go into every single movement saying to yourself, I'm gonna do one strong and quality rep to build solid motor memory, I'm doing that if I'm pulling in the visualization. If you can get to the point where you can actually smell and feel and see what is gonna happen in the reality scenario, in the real environment that it could happen into, then you're gonna increase the quality of your rep. You should be trying to do that no matter where you are. That's why I'm so adamant when you go into the gym or you're training or you're doing a deadlift or you're actually just going to One Life Fitness or any fitness gym in the country. If you're going to the gym, why are you there? Why did you show up in the first place? And what are you visualizing when you do those movements? All right, so when I'm going through repetition, why am I moving one way or another? Why am I flanking left? Why am I flanking right? That goes into the visualization of my movement. Again, they have to go together, and I'm gonna break down why. If I'm in a scenario where I have Hawk in front of me, or I don't have anybody in front of me, and I'm literally just shadow boxing in my living room, I'm gonna start thinking and pulling things in like, well, I have 4 children, and I have a wife, and I go out with them often. So if I don't plan on training that way, how am I gonna set myself up for success? If I just flanked to the right, my right, his left, and I didn't have any reason for doing it, I would say the level of the value of my repetition is about down here, because I just did it to do it. I just did it for a movement. But now if I do the repetition where I say, you know what? All 4 of my kids are lined up on this side. We have a grocery cart. I have my 2-year-old in the grocery cart. My 4-year-old's hanging off, Leo is hanging off the back of the grocery cart. And then I have the 2 other kids that are hanging out of the grocery cart. My wife is behind that. And they are right here moving down an alleyway or the parking lot, whatever the scenario is, whatever the environment is, that's where they are. That is the most important part of my repetition. The environment really doesn't matter. It's a shell at that point. It's a bubble. But what happens is that now I have a potential threat standing in front of me, and then the proximity and then the distance and the gap between me and my family is going to change everything about how I move. That's the visualization I want to bring into this rep to really increase the value. So now, if I'm not trying to game it and I'm by myself doing a repetition, and I literally go like this, I say, okay, my family's right here, and as I turn around, this guy's standing right in front of me. Now, why would I want to hit this guy? And it's almost like I don't even like burning bad motor memory to even go that way after I already established the fact that my family is right here, because that would be a bad rep. It would even hurt me to go that way because they're standing right here and this is a bad guy. That's the level and intensity that I'm adding to this visualization. So before I move, they're here, I need to protect them. My job is to be the shield, my job is to be the asset, which is why preemptively, whether this guy had a blade, a pistol, he just comes up and just starts swinging at me, or he's mouthing off, or he's got other buddies that are starting to close on our position, that scenario can unfold. There can be different variables, but I turn around and I have this guy standing right in front of me and I know he's a threat. I'm going to be preemptive, I'm going to strike, and then I'm automatically going to start looking at where can I flank next. I hit towards the jawline with my open hand. Now I'm going to drop on this tricep, and I'm going to try to flank to this side and get him offline. Now, what I've effectively done in that 2-beat movement is I threw a preemptive shot and I started to flank violently on this side. Now you can see my hips are squared up towards him. I'm in his pocket right now and he is facing that way. That's the ideal position. His weapons are very limited while I have all my weapons online. Now if I'm starting to add my blade or my pistol or whatever the case is, depending on the secondary threats. The most important value that you're going to get out of that specific repetition is that my family is now behind me as I am the shield between this threat. All right, guys, so when does the rep actually end? When do we pull ourselves out of it? And that's something that you should be working towards, is getting the visualization and the intensity to really feel like you're in reality and in the rep. Again, that's showing that you have strong visualization. It should feel real as you're going through each movement and each repetition and each next move. That's my job, to be able to give you guys the skills to be able to increase the value of every rep that you take. So train with intensity, train with great visualization and movement, and that will make your motor memory better, ultimately to lead you to being an asset.